friends, it's Loree with the blog wagonwheelhomestead.com. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for being here. Today's video is going to be really fun. You're not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to share it with all of your friends. Stay tuned to the end for a special giveaway. So definitely watch all the way to the end, and we're going to be giving away a really special surprise. So I'll tell you about that in a minute. But we're going to be making some Valentine's Day treats. This is a Cook With Me Valentine's Day edition, and I'm going to be making 5 different sourdough treats. I'm going to be using my Bosch mixer for all of these. That's a hint for the giveaway. And first we're going to be making some love letter pastries. They're really simple and easy, something fun you can do with your kids or for your kids. You can send them, with your kids to school or give them to others, and they're just really super fun. The next thing we're gonna make is some sourdough raspberry thumbprint cookies. Super easy, again, really fun thing to do with your kids. We're also gonna be making some strawberry muffins. They're so, so yummy. And I used frozen strawberries in my freezer that I grew in my garden last year, but you can use fresh strawberries as well, just whatever you have access to. We're also gonna be making some strawberry cheesecake sourdough sweet rolls, kind of like a take on sourdough cinnamon rolls, only with a strawberry cheesecake filling and a glaze on the top. Is so good. And the last thing we're gonna be making is heart-shaped strawberry glazed sourdough donuts. So these are all, again, really fun things you can make with your kids or for your family, and you definitely will not be sorry. And these are things, that you can make for Valentine's Day. That's obviously the theme of this video, but you can make these all year round, and you can do lots of different variations. So I hope this gives you some ideas, and this is gonna just be a super fun video. So as I mentioned, there's gonna be a giveaway at the end. I'm super excited to tell you that Nutrimil, which is the parent company for Bosch mixers, which are my favorite mixers. This is my mixer bowl. They are sponsoring a giveaway for all of you, and one lucky winner is going to be receiving a free Bosch kitchen mixer. And so I'm so excited for you to have this opportunity. I know a lot of you have been wanting to get a Bosch mixer, and this might just be your opportunity if you haven't been able to invest in one yet. And details on how you can enter are going to be shared at the end of the video. Welcome back to Wagon Wheel Homestead, where each week we share with you homesteading tips and tricks and teach you how to live a simple and sustainable life. My husband and I and our 5 children enjoy living close to the land on our 40-acre homestead in Nebraska, where we utilize the self-sufficient skills we have learned over a lifetime of homesteading. I was blessed to grow up gardening and preserving food since I was a little girl, and my husband grew up cattle ranching. Now we're able to use those skills to feed our family without having to purchase very much from outside sources like the grocery store. While we seek to be self-sufficient, we are mindful daily that we are really God-sufficient, as He is the one who sends the sunshine and the rain to feed us and our livestock. Along with gardening and preserving all of our vegetables, we raise our own beef, milk Jersey cows, make our own dairy products, and bake with sourdough. By involving our children in this lifestyle, we are seeking to preserve these old-fashioned skills by passing them down to the next generation. Join us as we share with you our journey and teach you how to grow a simple, sustainable life. So let's get started making the sourdough treats. So the first thing I mentioned that we're gonna make is the love letter pastries. We are going to be starting with the Bosch, of course. I have a special little cupboard that was built into my kitchen that holds my Bosch mixer, and I have a little pull out and it pops right up. So I can easily mix up something while I'm cleaning up the kitchen and then have it ready for whatever I may need it for. Pizza crust and pie crust and pasta, bread. We make so much bread in our mixer every year. So for the sourdough love letter pastries, what you're gonna do is put into the bowl of your stand mixer 4 cups of flour, half a cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 cups of cold butter. You wanna make sure that it's chilled, so put it in the fridge ahead of time. Make sure that it's nice and cold. You can even use frozen butter and grate it. Either one will be fine. It's very similar to how you would make a pie crust. You're gonna put that all into the bowl of your mixer, and using the cookie dough attachments or the cake mix attachments, something that's gonna really beat the flour and the butter finely, you can turn on your mixer and just really get the flour and the butter to incorporate well. You want it to be like little pea-sized chunks or pieces right? Similar, just like you would do for pie crust. And once that's achieved, switch your mixer over to the dough hook attachment, just because, you know, it's gonna have the power to actually finish mixing up your little pastries. So put your dough hook attachment on and add your sourdough starter and mix just until combined. You do not want to over mix it, just the same as you would for pie dough. You don't want to over mix it, just until it comes together, and then put it in some plastic wrap or an airtight container and chill it in the refrigerator. It's really easy to do this even several days ahead of time, and then you get the long fermented benefits of the sourdough. And then you can take it out and make this really fast for a quick breakfast in the morning, or even a fun little dessert on Valentine's Day. So that's something really fun to do. Then you're just gonna roll the dough out onto a lightly floured surface. And I used my bench scraper to measure about 4 inches square is what you're gonna want these. You're gonna make these look like love letters or little envelopes. It's really easy to do. So you're gonna make about 4-inch squares. And then you also want to leave some room to cut out some little hearts. And the little hearts are going to look like the little seals on the envelope. So you're going to take your 4-inch square pieces of pastry dough, turn them on their side so that it looks like a diamond. Put about a tablespoon or 2 of jam in the middle. Any kind of jam will work. I used raspberry jam that I made last summer from the raspberries in our garden, but you can use any kind of jam or jelly or filling that you would like. And then you're gonna fold up the bottom 3 pieces, like you see, and then put the little heart in the middle, and it's going to look like an envelope with a sticker on it, like an open envelope with, you know, the red jelly coming out like a little surprise. So it's just really, really fun. When you're all done, you can drizzle it with a little glaze. I just took powdered sugar and added a little bit of milk to it and made a thin glaze and just drizzled over the top, and these were absolutely delicious. My kids are still enjoying them. The next thing we're gonna make is the sourdough raspberry thumbprint cookies, and this is something else you can also make ahead of time. You will just need a 1/2 cup of softened butter, 3/4 of a cup sugar, 1/3 of a cup sourdough discard, 1 egg, and a teaspoon of vanilla, and put that in the bowl of your Bosch mixer. Again, I didn't wash my mixer even between these because I just mixed all of this up at one time and just had it all available, but you can, you know, do however it works for you. So turn your mixer on and cream that butter and sugar and vanilla and egg together really well, and then add 2 1/4 cups flour, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And mix it until it's combined. I used the cookie paddles for this one. Mix it until it's combined, and then wrap it in plastic wrap or an airtight container and put it in the refrigerator to chill for at least 30 minutes. Then to finish the thumbprint cookies, you're just going to roll them in a ball in your hand, or I actually found it easier to just roll them out, pat them out on the counter. And then because I wanted these to be heart-shaped, you know, if you do round, it doesn't really matter, you can roll them in a ball. But I did heart-shaped, and so then I used a heart-shaped cookie cutter and cut them out, and then just made an indentation in the shape of a heart in each cookie, and placed that, of course, on a parchment-lined baking sheet. And then I just added a little bit of jam, again, raspberry jam from last summer's garden, to the middle of each cookie. And I baked that in the oven at 350 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes. And I just sprinkled it with just a little bit of powdered sugar at the end, and these are absolutely delicious. The next thing we're gonna make is the strawberry muffins. These are sourdough strawberry muffins. And so to the bowl of your stand mixer, again, what you're gonna wanna add is 2 eggs, 1 cup of sugar, a 1/2 cup of oil, 1 cup of sourdough starter. And by the way, for the oil, I used melted beef tallow. That's what I use for most of my oil, or melted butter. But you can use whatever you have. Melted beef tallow works really well, and it's a cheaper option for me than most oil. So 1/2 cup of oil, 1 cup of sourdough starter, 1/2 cup of sour cream, 2 cups of flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I creamed all that together, and then I added 2 cups of chopped strawberries. Now the strawberries I had were frozen. and they work just fine. So you can put them into a little blender and blend them up, chop them finely, and put them into the muffins, and they turned out so good. So I put them into a large muffin pan with the paper liners. If you don't have paper liners, you can use butter to grease your, butter or beef tallow to grease your pan. Then I used a cookie scoop and filled each muffin cup to about 2/3 of the way full. You don't want to get them too full or they will run over. Then I just sprinkled a little bit of sugar on the top and bake these at 350 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. You can stick a knife down into the muffin or a toothpick, and if it comes out clean, you'll know that your muffins are done. These are super delicious and really simple and easy to make and very healthy as well. The next thing we're gonna make is one of my very favorite things from this particular Cook With Me video, and that is the strawberry cheesecake sourdough sweet rolls. And for this, it's very similar to my cinnamon roll recipe that you may see on the blog wagonwheelhomestead.com. And for this, what we're gonna add to the mixer again is 1 cup of warm milk, 1 cup of sourdough starter, 1/2 cup of butter, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 2 eggs. And cream that together and then add 4 to 5 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And make sure that the dough is pulling away from the edge of the bowl, right? That'll help you know that it's not gonna be too sticky, but you want a really nice soft dough for these rolls. And so when that's done, you can either roll these out right away or you can put them in the refrigerator to ferment, it doesn't matter. I just rolled these out right away. Then I put on them the cheesecake part, which was 8 ounces of cream cheese, softened, 1/2 cup of sugar, and a little bit of vanilla. And you mix that together, spread it on the rolled out rolls. And then I added a strawberry glaze. You could use strawberry jam or jelly, but I made my own glaze, and I used 1.5 cups strawberries, 2 tablespoons of sugar, a tablespoon of cornstarch, and a tablespoon of lemon juice. I just mixed the lemon juice and cornstarch together and added it to the strawberries when they were hot on the stove, and they thickened right up. I spread that out onto the sweet rolls. And then to make these shaped like a heart for fun, for Valentine's Day, you want to cut the dough into strips the short way. And you want to do that using a pizza cutter or something like that. And then you're going to roll the dough halfway from one side and halfway from the other towards the center. And then if you push the bottom of it down just a little bit, it will look like the shape of a heart. And I like to bake all of my sourdough in cast iron. Sourdough seems to love cast iron so much because the cast iron really holds its heat well and it cooks very evenly. So I always use just my cast iron skillets to make my cinnamon rolls, and it works so well. So you put all of this into your skillet and bake it in the oven at 350 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes or until it's just starting to turn golden brown. It looks so delicious. Then you can make a glaze out of 1 cup of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of milk, and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and just mix that glaze up and drizzle it on over the top of the rolls. The last thing we're gonna make is sourdough donuts, and we're gonna make them heart-shaped and put a strawberry glaze on these, and they're so fun. So for the donuts, you're going to need, in the bowl of your stand mixer again, 2 cups of warm milk, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon of vanilla, 1/2 cup of butter, and 2 cups of sourdough starter. Add 2 eggs, 7 cups of flour, and I let it mix with the dough hook for like at least 10 minutes and let it really develop the gluten in the dough. You want a nice, soft dough for donuts. Let it mix, then I roll out the dough and cut it into heart shapes. So I have a small heart-shaped cookie cutter and a large one, and that works really well for making donuts and donut holes. And you can make them without a hole in the middle of them, and then you can fill them with jam too. So there's lots of different options. I just let these sit on my counter. I cover them with another cookie sheet, let them sit all night in long ferment and raise. Then in the morning, I heat up beef tallow in my skillet to 350 degrees and fry the donuts about 3 or 4 at a time, just until they turn brown. You don't want them to get too crispy. Pull them out, and then I added a glaze, a strawberry glaze, out of 2 cups of powdered sugar and a 1/2 cup of strawberries. And I actually added a little bit more powdered sugar than that to mine because I was using frozen strawberries. But, you know, just make it as thick as you want it to go over the top of your donuts. Once the donuts cool off a little bit, you can put the glaze over the top and glaze the donut holes as well. You can, as I mentioned, also add jam to the inside, or you could put cream. There's, you can put chocolate on the outside. So many different ways that you can do these heart-shaped sourdough donuts, and they really do keep their heart shape really well and make a beautiful Valentine's Day treat. All right, and now let's talk a little bit more about the Bosch mixer and why I love it so much and how you can enter to win one of these of your very own for free. So my mom had a Bosch mixer for years and years when I was growing up. I've been around Bosch mixers my entire life. And I'll just tell you right now, you can't break them. You could put 12, they mix up at least 12 pounds of dough at a time. So you can put 12 pounds of dough in here, turn it on, walk away, and it would still be mixing that night when you came back. The mixer is, it will never get hot. It's not gonna shut down on you like some other mixers I've had. So it's really a workhorse mixer. As I mentioned, I make all of my bread for farmers market in here. You can get bigger mixers, but they cost a ton of money, and then you have to live with them and you have to clean them up. They're huge. You can do so much with this. I just make 2 or 3 big batches of dough in this in the morning and bake the loaves by evening, and we have all of our bread for market. It really works out well. And so that is why I recommend that you get a Bosch, because it's gonna be able to handle anything that you throw at it. I am notoriously very hard on my appliances. I'm just not very easy on anything. And if a Bosch can survive me, then it can handle anything that you're gonna give it. So this is a Bosch Universal Plus 800 watt. I've had it for several years. And again, it's made well over 1,000 loaves of bread a year for several years. And that doesn't even come close to counting all the other things that we make with it. So one of the things that I love about it is it has a locking bowl. So you can just put the bowl right on here and it locks. This is the dough hook. It comes with this cool little scraper attachment, and it keeps the dough from sticking to this middle centerpiece. So it just locks on. It's really super easy. And then probably my very favorite thing is the lid, because you can put this on here. It locks, like you can make butter in this and it doesn't leak, okay? So you can put this on here. I usually make butter in my food processor, which you can get a food processor to go on these. I have a blender for this as well. And so there's lots of different attachments. You can get ice cream makers, all kinds of things to go on this. And again, it's never gonna wear out. So it's a lifetime investment. So I love this lid because I can put it on here. It seals up. It doesn't let the flour spill. I can turn it on and do whatever I need to do. And then when I'm done and I wanna let something raise overnight or let it long ferment, like pizza dough or pasta, I just put this secondary lid on. And it's airtight, and so there's my airtight container. I don't have to put it in a separate bowl, with a lid or whatever. I just let it sit right in here. I do that all the time for my sourdough sandwich bread. You guys have seen me make that if you've been on this channel for a while. And so I just put my leaven in here at night, and then in the morning I add all my other ingredients, turn it on, mix it up, and there's your bread. In less than 5 minutes of active time, you can easily make the bread for your family every single week and have this for so many other things. So it also has, again, lots of other attachments. These are the cake beaters. There's cookie paddles as well. And you just slide them right on here and it just slides right on, locks, turn it on, just does a really great job. There's also whisks, so you can do the same thing. Just pull these off. You can make, all your whipped cream. Stick your whisks on just like that. So lots of different things that you can do with your Bosch mixer, and I know you're absolutely gonna love it. So how can you enter to win? Drum roll, it's what you've been waiting for this whole time. Thanks for sticking with us through the video. So to enter to win, there's a link in the description box below. So there's lots of different ways to enter, like you need to follow my YouTube channel, Wagon Wheel Homestead 21 on YouTube. You need to follow Nutrimill on YouTube. You can get extra entries by following on Facebook and Instagram and joining my email list. Just lots of different ways that you can enter to win. And the giveaway goes through February 14, 2025 at 5 p.m. Central Time. So 5 p.m. Central Time, the entries will close. I will be drawing the winner, and I will be announcing it on the community page of my YouTube channel and also on Facebook and Instagram. And part of signing up is you need to give your email, so then I will be contacting you via email if you win. Best of luck to all of you, and please share this widely with your friends. It's not very often that you get an opportunity to win a Bosch, and so definitely take full advantage of that. I also want to share with you, if you don't happen to win the Bosch and you want to purchase one, you can get an extra $20 off using my link, and I'll put that in the description box below, or go to nutrimill.com/wagon wheel. And you can get any of their products at a discount, and it's gonna be a huge investment in your future, and it's gonna save you a lot of money, and here's why. My family of 7 and I spend less than $1,500 a year at the grocery store, and that's because we make everything from scratch. Yes, we grow our own food, and we grow our own meat, and we have our own dairy cows, but we make all of our bread and all of our stuff from scratch, and we use the Bosch every single day. It's dirty almost every day in my kitchen. And so the little bit of investment that you have in purchasing a Bosch, if you don't happen to win, is going to be so worth it, because it's going to save your family hundreds and thousands of dollars in the future. So if you want to learn more about how to do that, definitely go to the blog wagonwheelhomestead.com, follow along here on my YouTube channel, and we will see you in the next video. Good luck to all of you.